I mean, guys are making plays. That's what it comes down to at the end of the game. They gave us a great punch to end that fourth, fought back to get back in the game. But, we withheld it and we played together. Jaime made a big shot down the stretch. We needed it. And, yeah.
What's it like rebounding out there against Detroit? I mean, Kalel and Bam combined for 27, but you had 7 yourself.
Yeah, I mean, they were big time today. We needed that, especially against a team like this. And they started 2 bigs, and they're a big physical team. So Bam and Kalel's presence was definitely felt.
In all your years here in the NBA, winning in different ways, what can that do for a locker room from what you see?
Oh, man, it just gives you confidence. Even if you're not playing your best game or things aren't going your way, you can go in the game and impact in a lot of different ways to help your team win, and that's what it's all about.
And the last one, so Detroit gives up 14 fast break points a game, but you guys had 26. You knew they were going to be a little bit tired, but you guys came out and executed. What did you like about your ability to get out in the open court tonight?
That's our thing. That's what we pride ourselves on too, is, getting out, playing your pace, playing together, and just, running the floor.
Any resolutions for New Year's resolutions 2026?
Just a healthy year. That's all I can pray for.
That's the most important.
Thank you.
I saw everybody hugged up on their man, and opportunity to, go down and make a play. Just get into my spot that I know I'm comfortable in, and just trying to, win a game.
I know you weren't back with the team yet when this two guys met on November 29th, right?
Yeah.
So the physicality of this game, can you kind of just describe what it's like out there?
Yeah, extremely physical. 2 very physical teams, so it was going to be a dogfight. We knew that coming in. And whoever had, more toughness and got easier buckets was going to be the one team to come out on top. So just went in with a good mentality, and everyone really bought into the game plan. And when that happens, good things usually occur.
The third quarter's been awesome for you guys as of late, but tonight I think it was 19-10 to start. What's been the difference or shift in this last week in those third quarters?
I think, we're just coming out with a different energy, a different mentality, really just trying to assert our presence and our dominance. Especially if we have a lead going into the next half, we want to come out and be really strong.
You guys have now scored a lot. You come in here. Like, what does it mean for a team to win in different ways?
It means a lot. I think that's the sign of a great team. They can win in a lot of different ways, and that's something that we've been trying to do. You can't just win all the time, scoring 140. That's not realistic. So you got to find ways to win, and that's what winners do. And, for us as a collective, that's something that we've really been building towards. Resolution? Nah, I'm not really a big resolution guy. But I always think, if this is an excuse for someone for a fresh start, go for it. But me, I try to, just live my life. Yeah, but my New Year's resolution, I guess I'll give you one, is to win a lot of games.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, win a lot of games. Yeah. Thanks.
I think 14 rebounds in this building probably is like 30 in every other building, and so that battle out there looks like it hurts. But what's required to bring on the glass the way you are out there?
Impact and win. Trying to shift the mindset when you're not necessarily shooting well. You can rebound, you can defend, you can get guys in their spots, you can over-communicate, and then eventually the ball will find you. So. Rebounding is a big part of this game because obviously they got 2 physical guys over there that, can change the game by second chance points.
Third quarters have gotten off to a really nice start as of late. Has there been a shift or a conversation, or what's been the change there for you guys?
Definitely a conversation, but more so our mentality going into the third. We feel like we have a drop-off at the start of thirds, and our coach is a maniac, and he's going to emphasize it and pick at it until we get it right. So we've been getting it right lately. So keep this going so he can stay off our backs.
Cade Cunningham and pick and roll is so important to what they do. When you're defending that, what's required for you guys when you're switching up your coverages and trying to make things tough for him?
That's the thing. Make it difficult. Switch the coverage up, even if it's still pick and roll. Blitz them sometimes. Sometimes you send a double. Make them keep thinking throughout the game where it's unpredictable.
Are you a resolution guy?
Yeah.
Can you share any? 2026, here we go.
Resolution? Trying trying to think of one. Just being a better human.
Yeah, it's tough for you, Bam. You're pretty awesome human.
But also giving myself grace.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing, giving myself grace, because I can beat myself up a lot when I go through slumps or whatever I'm going through. And, you know, it's part of basketball sometimes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good. Okay, so the inflection plays down the stretch, we talk about that a lot. Tonight you guys won them. What did you see out there to put it away?
Well, you know, they made some big plays as well. You know, the threes, Sasser, you know, pulled them a little bit closer. You know, we had some opportunities, you know, with our late game execution. You know, we had a turnover one time, a deflected pass. You know, D. Mitch got a pretty good look at one of them. And then Norm, we got a switch. And then, you know, Stewart heavily contested that three. I think we had an opportunity to possibly, you know, put some pressure on the paint. But then, you know, Jaime really kind of just settled in, and they didn't double, and he just got to a spot that he was very comfortable with, and, you know, he put it away. But there were some great defensive possessions, you know, before that, particularly as they were, you know, trying to get back into the game. You know, we had some good deflections, you know, a couple stops, tough rebounds. You know, it's just a good start to 2026. We'll take it. You know, that's a very good team. You know, obviously they're coming off a West Coast trip, but, you know, this is the NBA. You know, so you know, we will definitely take it.
Winning in different ways, in your experience, how have you seen that can affect the locker room?
Yeah, I think this was an important one for us to get because this wasn't a game, you know, where we put 140, you know, on the board. You know, Bam and Kalel were just terrific and physical on the glass. The 14 rebounds from Bam, 13 from Kalel, but also the offensive rebounds. You know, I think Bam had 4, Kalel I think had 3, Wiggs had 5. You know, so they're a good. Detroit's a good, you know, defensive team. You're not just going to always just be able to get to, you know, what you want to, particularly in the half court. I thought our transition game was very good, but in the half court they make it tough. So sometimes you just need to, you know, get some of those possessions in the mud, and we were able to get, you know, some second opportunities, and you know, it's a different way for us to impact the game.
Third quarters are looking much better tonight. I think you guys, it was 19-10 to start the third quarter. Has something shifted there in this last week or so?
Well, we've had enough games where we were a dud out of it, and I credit, you know, the locker room. In our meeting on Christmas Eve, you know, basically everybody was talking about that we need to have more consistency coming out of the locker room. We've had a lot of halftime leads or played great first half basketball. Even in those losses, you know, we had so many of those games where we played really well, and then the third quarter would just do us in. And so our guys have taken that to heart to try to be more consistent, you know, throughout the course of the game. There'll always be back and forth. That's what competition's about. But you try to bring the consistent energy, you know, and intentions, you know, which we had tonight.
Norm with his 36, but in pick and roll actions, I think they were trying to put him in a box at times and throw different coverages at him. What's required for a player to be able to pick that apart? Yeah,
you know, I think that's what's interesting. You know, we did get to some of that stuff, and they jammed us up. You know, they're a great pick and roll defensive team with 5. I think what really was impressive, you know, with Norm through 3 quarters is he was getting so many of his points in random situations. And you need to against a good defense. You can't just always run a play call, and look what happened in our last 2 minutes of this game. But Norm was getting him in transition. He was getting him on random, you know, catch and goes, offensive rebounds, you know, relocations. And, you know, he has a great skill for that. And we want to lean into that, even, you know, in fourth quarter situations where we don't just slow down and play a typical game. Now, there will be times where we for sure have to execute, but I think the game slowed down to their favor tonight.
Last one. Coming into this building, you know you have to meet the moment with physicality. Tonight, what did that look like to you out there for your team?
It looked like it on the glass. And there still were other opportunities that the guys were lamenting, that we, you know, the ball was hitting our hands, and it would pop out of our hands because of, getting bumped or, a little bit of contact on the hand. We have to continue to get better at grabbing, those kind of rebounds with two hands, being strong with it, not getting stripped, not bobbling it, and then also rebounding outside of our area. But for the most part, there was great intention. We knew it. We knew it coming in. They put almost 80 points in the paint on us last game, and they pounded us on the offensive glass. We knew we'd have to bring a physical edge. Okay?